What's going on, Jashawn? Or Jay Sean, I'm sorry. Hey, Miss Radden. As always, if you miss Hamilton, though, that's how you're gonna do it, Jay Sean? I'm also in Teams if you want to join me in Teams. We get started in a couple minutes. I'll pull the do now up. I'll pull everything up for to get started in just a minute, including your do now. You will need the week 4 and week 5 packet for today. We're going to be filling out our outline for our essay, and we're going to gather the information and all our evidence for our outline from weeks 4 and week 5's packet. So you need both. If not, you'll be able to see it on my screen, and we'll kind of fill it out together. It helps if you have your own packet, though. Welcome, Rihanna.
Hello.
So, Rihanna, we're going to need week 4 and week 5's packets today.
Okay.
Yeah, so have them both out. Hopefully I'll get the pages right today. We'll get started right at 1 o'clock. Give everybody a chance to log in. And I'll make sure everything's on the screen so you can see it. Just wait for a few other people to join. Jay Sean, just give me a thumbs up if you got the week 4 and week 5 packets. And I'm sorry I don't recognize the name at the bottom. Don't put your name in the chat, but I'll make sure I figure out who you are so I can give you credit. Welcome, Camilla. And we'll get started right at 1 o'clock. Hey, Tyra. If I didn't call, you don't have it, Jay Sean, I'll make sure you can see the screen then. Welcome, Trevante. So you will need week 4 and week 5's packet. We're going to be gathering information and evidence from both. I'm going to go ahead. Okay, Jay Sean, you'll still be able to see it on the screen. I'll also get you a copy of it digitally, so you have that. And then I have a new tool to let people know. I have a new tool to give people the packets. You won't be able to write in it, but you'll be able to see it online, whether you have a phone or a computer. It doesn't matter. It's friendly to both platforms. All right. But for those who do have it, you will need week 4 and week 5's packets. Week 4 and week 5's packets. All right. We're going to be gathering evidence from both. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around. I got my new setup. My stand finally came. Super excited. Let me see if I can angle it down. So I'm going to share my screen with our Do Now. Oh, that's not what I wanted to share. Need to Do Now, which is... All right, now I can do it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see it. At the top, the Do Now is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of command and market economies? All right, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about that. You can put it in the chat. You can put it in on live in the comment section. Does not matter. What are the advantages and disadvantages of command and market economies? The reason we're going over this question is because we're going to gather our evidence for our essay into our outline. All right, so we'll need to go back and we need to talk about command versus market economies, and then look at how governments and markets have been affected in the pandemic from the articles that we read. All right, so we'll give it 2 more minutes to go ahead and put in the comments or the chat, what are the advantages and disadvantages of command and market economies? Another way of saying command and market economies, we know that command economies are run by the government, and market economies are run by people like you and I, buyers and sellers. So I need you all to go ahead and start putting in the chat, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages and disadvantages of the command and the market, or the ones with the government and the ones in the market. Also, if you are in live and you want to join me in Teams, you can join me in Teams. I'm on there. Ramante, I'll let you join in the live video in just a few minutes. We're going to give everybody a chance to answer our Do Now question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of command and market economies? Michaela, we're still in weeks 4 and 5. I know we're in week 6, but I wanted to go over the outline for the essay from week 5. So we're going to use the week 4 and week 5 packets. We're going to use the week 4 and week 5 packets. We're going to start on week 6. We're going to start on week 6 on Thursday. Camilla, I love your comment. You said big stores are making a lot of money and small stores are closing. That is a great kind of assessment and observation. We're going to talk about what the command versus the market deals with. The market economies, the whole goal, the whole point is to make as much profit as possible. All right. So in areas where there's more of a market economy and no government control, yes, big stores are putting smaller stores out of business. So I love that comment. All right, so let's get into it. Let me make sure I didn't get anything in the comments. No. All right, so the advantages and disadvantages of command. All right, the government. Can somebody jump in or put in the comments, or Rihanna, if you would like to? What are the advantages and disadvantages? This is going to be back in week 4. Week 4. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and share the week 4 when we talked about market-based and command economies. So on the screen, I have command economies. Let me blow it up so everybody can see. All right, so we have some advantages of the command market on our screen. Would anybody like to make a comment about the advantage of a command market? And this is going to lead us straight into our outline. Alexis, yes, we are doing the outline today. So we'll start on week 6 on Thursday. I would love for somebody to put in the comments or join me in Teams and give me the answer to that question. Advantages and disadvantages of the command market. We're going to start with the advantages of the command. Anybody? The quicker we get through this, the quicker that we can get to. Okay, you can tell them what you would like to buy or see them sell. I love that, Kalea. That is an advantage of a market economy. That's an advantage of a market economy. Okay, we're in the command, right? So the command is the one running by the government. All right. So one of the advantages is that the government can make sure citizens get what they need by controlling production. They can make sure people have jobs, and they make sure people have fair access to resources. All right? Those are all advantages of a command market, because the government is in charge. The government makes the rules. Okay? So those are... All right. Whoever joined me in Teams, if you can mute your mic really quickly. Okay. So the government, right? The government also pays for or directly provides services. Those include healthcare and education. All right. Yes, Kalea, command system has flexibility. Okay. So that's our next one. Let me see if I can blow it up. So the government has flexibility. All right. So flexibility is an advantage. All of that's great. It's a great observation. Thank you, Kalea. Any other ones before we move on to the disadvantages? And you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and comment. All right, so we'll go ahead and move down to the disadvantages. We're looking for the disadvantages for the command economies. All right. We're going to blow this up so everybody can see it. All right. What are the disadvantages in command economies? Disadvantages. And anybody in Teams, I would love to hear from you. You can unmute yourself. If you want to join me in the live session, we can do that. This doesn't work if I'm the only one talking. And this is simply a review. This is not anything new. This is People are doing. Are you saying losing their jobs?
What was the question, Mr. Hampton?
The disadvantages of command systems. We have the article up in front on the screen, and you can go from that. Rihanna, you had a comment?
I'm trying to find an answer.
Okay. All right, so people are losing their jobs. That's Camilla stated that. Okay. That might be a disadvantage. All right, the government is in charge.
Another disadvantage is some people can be needing needs for the jobs and stuff to keep like some jobs open and stuff like that. Some people can need needs because some people can't pay their bills.
Okay, so there's not enough goods to meet the people's needs. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There may be too few goods to meet people's needs, right? So in a command economy, right, there might be the government is in charge of production of goods and services, and there might be too few or too many goods and services to meet people's needs. That's a disadvantages. That's one of the disadvantages. Yes, Kalea, you don't have the proper resources. What about this one? That's a huge disadvantage, right? Government officials lie or cheat to give themselves benefits over looking out for the people. When you have a command system, the government is in control. That means that people in power in the government can exploit the system and lie and cheat for their own benefit that hurts other people. So that's a disadvantage of a command economy. So we're going to move down to our market economy. We're going to go to the market economy. I'm going to blow it up so everybody can see it. What are the advantages of a market economy? They don't have enough money for everyone. They don't have enough doctors for everyone. That's a great observation, Camilla. All right. So in government provided health care, sometimes they don't have enough doctors. So it leads to long wait times. So that's a disadvantage of a command economy, right? So moving to the market-based economy. Market-based economy. What are the advantages of a market economy? What are the advantages of a market economy? Camilla, I love that you're giving us real-time examples of the problems with the command economy. People are taking advantage or exploiting the system, right? And they're putting extra pressure on the system in a command economy because the government is in control of a lot of the things, right? And so you have people in and outside of the government taking advantage of the system, right? But what are some advantages of market economy? Remember, command economy is run by the government. Market economy is run by buyers and sellers. What's one of the advantages of a market economy based on our paragraph? Kalea, you had a great observation before.
I got one.
What you got, Rihanna?
So one of the advantages that's right here in the paragraph is buyers have the freedom to choose to purchase goods and services they like.
That's a great, all right, that's a great observation. Buyers can choose to purchase the goods and services they like, right? The sellers can do what the buyers want, or they can risk going out of businesses. So the buyers have the freedom to choose and purchase goods and services they like. There's competition. When you go to the grocery store, there's several different brands of the same product. So you have different brands of eggs. You have different brands of cereal, right? And buyers buy the ones they like. They're not forced to take one over the other, all right? So buyers have the freedom to choose. Kalea says a disadvantage is people pay poor salaries to keep costs low, because we know the purpose of a market economy is profit, right? It's profit. And we're going to get to the disadvantages in just a moment. All right. Right here, one more, and I'm going to blow this up so everybody can see it. All right. Economists believe that market economies encourage innovations and invention, right? When you're competing against other people, you want your product to be better or work faster or be more appealing to the consumer, right? So it encourages inventions and innovations. All of those would be advantages of our market economy. Now, disadvantages. Kalea pointed one out, all right? Because companies are trying to keep profits high, they don't pay good living wages, right? Some companies shut down. Camilla mentioned this one before. Large companies do well because they can afford to. But smaller companies might be put out of business. Okay? What is another disadvantage? Well, Kalea said one, people use unfair practices like paying poor salaries to keep costs low so they can make more profit. They also may make unsafe products, right? All of those are disadvantages. Give me some hearts in our comments or in the chat if you understand the difference. Okay, I'm just checking to see who's online. If you understand the different advantages and disadvantages of a market and a command economy. All right, give me some hearts in the chat if you understand the differences, the disadvantages and the advantages of market and command economies. The reason I'm asking you to pay attention to that is because it's going to help us when we fill out our outline in order to write our essay. Okay? So, what I need everybody to do, here, let me stop sharing for a minute. I need everybody to go to their week 5 packets, and you're going to be on the outline. Rihanna, can you tell me? Yes, Darian.
I'm on week 5.
Say that again.
No, I'm on week 5. I turned everything in.
You turned it in with the essay too?
It was too late for me to do the essay because I was rushing on that. I was packets for 2 and 3.
Okay, so weeks 4 and 5 are in quarter 4. The only packets that are in for quarter 3 were the spring break packet in weeks 1, 2, and 3.
You talking about the Spanish package?
No, I'm talking about that world religion packet from you.
Yes, the world religion packet was due, but we're talking about week 5, which is the economy.
Yeah, I don't have that packet anymore. I turned everything in.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know that it wasn't due yet.
They said everything art because they said everything needed to be turned in.
Everything from the 3rd quarter needed to be turned in.
Oh.
Okay.
My bad.
So I'm gonna send you a link in Teams so you can have a digital copy so that you can work on your essay and get full credit instead of not having the packet done. Okay. Darian?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to ask you if you have the packet. If you don't, it's on the screen. If you have the packet, I want you to go to week 5. And Rihanna, can you tell me what page our outline is on in the week 5 packet, the essay outline?
Yeah, I'm about to look.
All right. Thank you.
All right, it's on page 9.
So we should be on page 9 of the week 5 packet. It should look just like this. It should say thesis statement. It has, it says essay outline. There should be some lines under here. It shouldn't say what I have unless you wrote it down. And then it should have sections for 5 paragraphs, an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through what details should be in each paragraph. And we're going to gather some of the details just like we did for our do now so that you all can be set to write your essays. You're going to write a 5-paragraph essay that answers our compelling question: should governments or markets control the economy? Thumbs up if you understand what your expectation is, or some hearts in the chat. You can give me some likes so I know that you understand what your expectations are. Amir, you realize what we're doing right now? We're going to go over our outline. You with me, Amir? People in IG Live, you understand what we're doing? Awesome. Thank you, Camilla. You don't understand what we're doing, Ramonte? Or are you messing with me? Thank you, Alexis, for giving me a thumbs up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. You should be on page 9 of your week 5 packet. Page 9 of your week 5 packet is your outline. We're going to go over some of the details that should be included in your outline. Okay, so first up is your thesis statement. All right, thesis statement. What's going on, Jayon? So our essay is answering the question: should governments or markets control the economy? What we're going to do is we're going to think about everything we went over, from our command and market article to the way the industries have been affected by the coronavirus, to the government's proposals to provide solutions. We're going to think about all those things and we're going to put it together in this essay. Okay, so we start off with our thesis statement, which is going to answer our compelling question: should governments or markets control the economy? It's up to you which way you believe, all right? If you think the government should control the economy, that's fine. If you think the markets should control the economy, that's fine, okay? It does not matter which one you pick, but you are going to answer this question. Your thesis statement should start off one of these 2 ways. You're going to restate our question and you're going to provide your answer in it, okay? So the question says, should governments or markets control the economy? If you think the government should control the economy, your thesis statement will be: government should control the economy because. And then you are going to provide 3 points. You're going to provide 3 points to help you write or to back up your thesis, because 1, 2, 3. You don't have to come up with it right now. We'll talk through it in a minute. If you think the markets should control the economy, the buyers and sellers should control the economy, you're going to say markets should control the economy because, and then you're going to give your points, your reasons, your details and evidence, 1, 2, 3. The reason you're coming up with 3 pieces of evidence to include in your thesis statement is because each of those points will be included in your body paragraphs. So your point 1 will go in paragraph 2. Your point 2 will go in paragraph 3. Your point 3 will go in paragraph 4. Okay? If there's any questions, unmute your mic or type it in the chat, in the comments. But we're going to keep rolling, and because I want you to get everything you need so that you can write your essay between now and the end of the week. Camilla, we're not going through old homework. The article we did for the Do Now is old assignments from week 4. If you don't have it, we can chat afterwards, and I can make sure that you have what you need to do the essay. This is due this week. Camilla. But if you turn it in next week, that's fine. We're in the middle of the fourth quarter. As long as I get it before the end of the school year, it's fine. It's just better for you to do it as quickly as possible so you don't have to do multiple assignments at the same time. Okay? So the due date will be, if you already wrote your essay, that's fine. If you want to change it up based on what we go over, that's fine. We're going to get into week 6 on Thursday. Okay?
Mr. Hamilton, we on 4 and 5, Poppy?
Yes.
All right.
I'm going over weeks 4 and 5 so that everybody can have the same kind of starting point for their essay.
Carry on.
Oh, I want everybody to have the kind of same starting point. Okay? So we have our thesis statement no matter what side you are. Yes, week 5. So we have our thesis statement no matter what side of the question you come down on, whether it's government or markets. Your thesis statement should start with your answer to the question, and you're going to come up with 3 points to help, 3 pieces of evidence to help you defend why governments should control the economy. Okay? When you write your paragraphs, we're going to start going through the paragraphs, and then we're going to start gathering the evidence. That's going to be the biggest part because the evidence is what's going to help you to write your essay. Okay? So, as always, I'm sure Ms. Kane has taught you when you're writing, all right, when you begin, you want to start with a hook. You want to get your reader's attention. You don't want Mr. Hamilton to fall asleep while he's reading your essay. All right. It can be an anecdote. You can provide some statistics. You can ask a question. All right. Any examples? You can do statistics. You can give me a question, not our compelling question. All right. But you can ask a question related to market and command economies, all right? Or you can give me a story regarding the economies. I can't spell. A story regarding the economies. It does not matter what you choose for your hook, but you want to do something that's engaging to get started. We're not going to get too fancy with our introduction. So after you have your hook, you are going to create your thesis statement. Remember, our thesis statement is at the top. It should be something like this. You do not have to put this verbatim, but it should be an answer to our compelling question. Government should control the economy because, and your 3 points. Markets should control the economy because, and your 3 points. Okay? Once you've written your thesis statement, you can pretty much wrap up your introduction and get started immediately on your body paragraphs. Okay? Your second paragraph will be based on point number 1, and we'll go over some possible points to include. And when you give your points and your evidence, you want to cite the text that your evidence comes from. You want to cite the text that your evidence comes from. Paragraph 3 is going to be point number 2. And again, you want to give details about your evidence and cite the text that it comes from. Same thing, point number 3. Point number 3 is paragraph 4. Give details from the text, cite the text that it comes from, and the conclusion is going to wrap up. So we're not going to do that right now. All right, we'll come back to that. Okay, so what I've done is I've created a T-chart. If you have a blank sheet of paper or a space on your paper, you can create a T-chart. You're not turning this T-chart in. This is simply to help you when it comes to getting your evidence together. Okay. On our left side, we're going to put information about the government or command markets. We're going to put On the left side, information about the governments or the command markets. On the right side, we're going to do market or buyers and sellers. Okay? So a great thing to put in our chart would be information regarding our advantages and disadvantages. All right, advantages and disadvantages. So we went over advantages and disadvantages in the do now. So would anybody like to add advantages and disadvantages or comment advantages and disadvantages of our command market from our do now so that we have a running list? Advantages or disadvantages of command markets. Somebody in Teams, somebody in live, anybody who'd like to tell me an advantage or disadvantage of a command market.
Wait, so are you asking for a disadvantage or advantage?
Either or.
Okay, so one disadvantage for command marketing for me is, I would say problems with like gas bills and stuff like that. Like you don't have enough product or money for your business because
Okay.
of what pandemic is going on.
Okay, so we're talking about in general, not necessarily with the pandemic, but we'll go with that. All right. So not enough. Why is this not working? Not enough resources. Not enough resources. In a command market, you can end up with not enough resources. And Rihanna said that that's a disadvantage, right? So we're going to do that in red, right? Well, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry. We're going to highlight it in red. Not enough resources would be a disadvantage. All right. Would you put that in your essay if you think governments should control the economy?
No.
No,
So,
you
yeah.
would. Yes or no?
I'll probably say I'm probably on the yes side because the markets don't have enough resources, so that means the government might can help them out by providing resources for their company.
Okay, so remember you said this was a disadvantage, right?
Oh, okay.
All right, so would you include that if you say government should control the economy?
No, I won't.
No.
say no.
So you wouldn't put the disadvantages if you think government should control the economy, but would you say something about the disadvantages of command if you think markets should control the economy?
Yes.
Yes, right? So all of the
Yes.
disadvantages of governments are good things for people who think markets should control the economy, and vice versa. All the disadvantages for markets are good things for people who think that the government should control the economy. Okay, so I typed in here more control over people. Camilla offered that comment on live. Camilla, would that be an advantage or a disadvantage of a command market? Having control over the people, would that be an advantage or a disadvantage?
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes, Rihanna.
where are we putting these things at on the paper?
So you can just create a T-chart, because what I want to do is I want you to get a whole list of evidence that you can start adding into your essay as you write it. So this will be something separate. Okay? You with me, Rihanna?
Yeah, but there's no space to put a T-chart on the paper.
So put it off to the side or write some notes on the side, or you can write it on the paper.
Okay.
Okay. So Camilla said that the government having more control over people and what they buy is an advantage, right? She thinks that's an advantage. If you're a fan of a market economy, is that an advantage for you?
Basically, yes.
If it for markets, remember, good things for on this side is not good things on this side. All right. So if it's an advantage for the command market, it's not an advantage. It's not a positive for the market economies. Okay. So that's an advantage over here. Okay. Any more? Any advantages or disadvantages? What happens when you have negative people in charge with a command economy? What happens if you have people who are trying to get over in a command economy? Nobody? Let's go back up. Let's go back to our do now questions, right? So we looked at the disadvantages of a command economy. What are some of the disadvantages? What's a disadvantage?
There are sometimes too many or too few goods and services to meet people's needs. Government officials who lie or cheat.
Okay, so government officials who lie or cheat, right, have a lot of influence over a command economy. So that's a negative, right? So government officials who lie or cheat is a negative for a command economy because they can influence what the government does in the economy. Camilla, what we're doing is we're coming up with the advantages and disadvantages of the command and market economy. All right. We're highlighting the advantages in green and the disadvantages in red. The reason we're doing that is because when you go back up to your outline, if you think government should control the economy, you want all the advantages in your essay. If you think markets should control the economy, you want the market advantages in your essay, but you can also include the government or the command disadvantages. Okay, so we're working on two possible thesis statements depending on how you think this question should be answered. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to our market economy so that we can have evidence on both sides. All right, so what is an advantage or disadvantage of the market economies? Anybody?
I have an advantage.
What do you got?
So one advantage is that the market economy, that they got customers and stuff like that. So like the customers, like the market can't control what the customers buy. The customers do. So say like if the market don't have the exact thing that the customer like want to buy, or they have like the wrong things and tell them that they can't pick up such and such, and then they can get shut down. Like
right.
This stuff was going on. Like we talk from right here, so this stuff they can get shut down.
Okay, so
the customer pick up what they like.
So the buyers have control, right? The government's not in control. The government doesn't say what people have. Buyers have control. They can either buy or not buy based on their preferences. Okay, so is that an advantage of the market or a disadvantage?
I feel like it's an advantage.
It's an advantage of the market. Exactly. All right. So buyers have some control, right? They don't have control in a command market. What's another advantage or disadvantage of the market economy? What does it encourage, right? Rihanna makes a handmade headbands. Mr. Hamilton makes handmade headbands. What does it force me and Rihanna to do? If Rihanna doesn't make good headbands, what happens?
Then it's all your business now.
Then they come to my business, right? So what does it force Rihanna to do?
To shut down.
Okay, but if you don't want to shut down, what do you have to do? So me and you are making headbands, right? Me and you are making headbands. What are we doing with each other? Camilla says you can sell more, but what do you have to do to sell more? Because remember, the buyers have control.
Get more customers to come.
But how do you do that? You can lose money. Yep. How do I make sure that
you can lose money to get money?
Okay, maybe I spend a little bit more money when I make my headbands and they become a little bit better quality, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I put them on sale, right? So what a market does is it encourages competition, right? It encourages competition, and that means better quality. That means better prices. That means better options, right? So competition makes people do better, right? So let's say Rihanna started making good headbands and Mr. Hamilton's losing some business. What do I need to do to make sure I keep my business and don't lose my business? What do I have to do?
Better quality things.
I got to make better quality, or my prices have to do better. I have to do something better than you're doing it, so that I can keep my customers. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So all of those are examples of market economies or command economies. Now, how this relates to your essay is when you go back up to your outline, maybe our point number one. So let's say market economies is my answer. So I want to include the advantages of the market economies. One of the advantages that we just said was there's competition, better quality, better prices, and better options. Now, if I go back to my article, it says something about invention and innovation. And I can use that direct quote to support my point number one about why the market economy why the markets should control the economy. And I put my evidence in paragraph number one. I'm going to do the same thing for point number two. I'm going to come up with a second point that supports whatever one I choose. And I'm going to write about it in this paragraph with evidence from evidence from my articles. And then I'll do the same thing for point number three. So point number one up here is competition. Okay. Maybe point number two is buyers have options. And maybe point number three is market economies. I'm sorry. Market economies make sure there's enough resources. Okay? So what I did was I just finished my thesis statement. My thesis statement, if I think markets should control the economy, is Markets should control the economy because it encourages competition. Buyers have more options, and market economies make sure that there are enough resources. Okay? What I did was I just wrote out and finished my thesis statement.
Won't do those time.
Say that again, Rihanna.
Huh?
What'd you say?
Oh, I have to say it was 1:45, but it's okay.
Well, I'm going to finish up right now, so if you have to go, it's cool. But I'm just going to
Yeah.
Okay. So your thesis statement should finish it out. You should give 3 reasons why you picked either markets or governments controlling the economies. And then you build out those 3 reasons in your paragraph. So paragraph 2, you'll take over point number 1 and give me evidence, give me information, and give me cite your text for why markets should control the economy or governments, whatever you choose. Point number 2, you're going to put in paragraph 3. Point number 3, you're going to put in paragraph 4, and you're going to provide evidence. For your conclusion, you can just wrap up by restating your thesis and making sure that the reader understands which side you picked for the question, should governments or markets control the economy? All right. That's why I just wanted to take that time to go over the advantages and disadvantages. Those are going to be the easiest things you can put into your outline to help you write your essay. Remember, your introduction should have a hook. It should include your thesis statement. Your introduction should finish with your thesis statement. And then you start building out your points in your paragraph, your body paragraphs. Okay? If there are any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm not going to hold you up. Look on my page for week 6. So we are going to start week 6 on Thursday. All right. So I'm going to share a Sway, which is a web page, with you all for week 6. And you're going to have an assignment to do before Thursday so that when we come in Thursday, we can get straight to work. Okay? I'm sticking around for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, if you want to put them in the chat on IG, or if you want to put them in the comments or chat in Teams.
No questions at all.
No questions? So Kelvante, you put your number in the chat. Everybody has access to that, just so you know. It's not a private chat. It's in the group.
All
right. All right. So thank you all for participating. I'm going to put our outline on my Instagram page so you can help. It can help you build out your essay. If you need help, you can send me an email or you can reach out in Teams if you have any other questions, just to make sure that you all are doing well with your essay. I hope you all are being safe. Stay inside.
Quarantine.
Stay inside. Make sure you practice social distances and wash your hands. Thank you all for coming in. I'm really excited about the 4th quarter and that so many people are being active. All right? All right. So you all have a good afternoon. I will see you on Thursday.
Okay, you too.
right.
Bye, Rihanna.
Okay, peace out.
All right, Mr. Helmer.
All right. Later, Kelvante. Thank you for joining.
You are.
All right, all my people on Instagram, thank you all for joining. I'm going to end it now. It was great to engage with you all.